Tim. It's good to see you here today. I wanted to start by asking what brings you in to see me?
Well, I've struggled with depression in the past, and I just have like a lot of things going on that I'm worried it's gonna re-trigger it.
Okay. So you've had depression in the past. Is that something you sought treatment for?
Uh-huh.
Okay. But you have some things going on in your life right now, and that is making you concerned that you could relapse.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think you should feel good about yourself that you have brought yourself in, that you're being proactive and trying to do things to take care of yourself to avoid that. That's very commendable. And I also hope it reassures you to know that there are some pretty well researched treatments now that can often significantly reduce the chances that you would experience a recurrence of depression.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of any of those?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, we are going to focus on one during our time together, and that is called mindfulness based cognitive therapy. It's a really big name. Some people call it MBCT for short. Is that something you've ever heard of?
No.
Okay. What it does is it draws on kind of some Buddhist practices of mindfulness and meditation, and it combines it with something called cognitive therapy, which talks about how we change our thought processes.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever practiced anything like meditation before?
No.
No? Okay. Does that make you feel overwhelmed at all to hear that word?
Curious, I guess.
Curious? Okay. Well, rest assured we will go slow. Have you ever been to the gym to work out?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're familiar with the idea that in order to build our muscles, we have to train over a period of time, and that's how they strengthen, correct?
Yep.
Well, I want you to think of this similarly. What we're going to do over the next 8 weeks together is we are going to work on your mental health muscles, especially related to attention and awareness.
Okay.
And the goal is that by tapping into those, it will help stop some negative thought processes before they can spiral and possibly lead you back to a depressed state.
Okay.
Okay? So I want to start by sharing with you a couple of mind states that we talk about in this type of therapy. One is called the doing mind, and that is when our brains help us set goals and create tasks to accomplish those goals. And it's basically the mind state that helps us get things done.
Okay.
Now, you said you work in business, right?
Yep.
So obviously, a mental state that helps you get things done could be pretty important. So in and of itself, the doing mind is not a bad thing. It's something that we all need. But it can sometimes turn dysfunctional when we have things come up in life that cause us to fall short of the goals we've set for ourselves. And this can be as simple as traffic on the way to work, not allowing you to get in for an important meeting on time. Maybe your computer crashes and you're not able to finish a presentation in the way that you had wanted to. I'm guessing similar things have possibly happened before in your line of work.
Definitely.
Okay. So when the doing mind turns dysfunctional, it turns into what we call the driven doing mind. And this is when our brains attach judgments and meanings about us as people when we fall short of what we set out to accomplish. And what this could look like is you don't make it to work in time because of traffic. And instead of just accepting that, sometimes we tell ourselves messages like, oh man, I can never get anywhere in time. Why didn't I plan better? Now everyone's going to be disappointed with me. And it just kind of leads us down a negative thought trail. Has that ever happened to you before?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when we're in a low mood potentially, or we've got a lot of stress going on, and we let that driven doing mind take over, it can lead to negative thought patterns. And that eventually can lead to depression. And so that's what we're going to try to avoid.
Okay.
And to do that, we're going to tap into another mind state that we call the being mind. What do you think of when you hear that?
I think of like being present, maybe.
Okay, very good. You're definitely on the right track. The being mind is the part of our mind that allows us to simply be aware and to acknowledge and accept things as they come, including our thoughts and feelings. We might feel frustrated because of traffic on the way to work. And we can experience that frustration and we can experience the traffic, and then we can let it go without attaching meaning to it by saying that we're a bad person for not having left earlier or for being late that day. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So to do this is where the meditation comes in. We're going to practice some awareness activities that allow us to tap into that ability to be present and to just let our thoughts be thoughts and not have them take over in an unhealthy way. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
All right. Would you be willing to try one of those activities with me today?
Sure.
Okay. This might seem a little interesting. Just
Okay.
bear with me. I'm going to lead you through a series of instructions, and you just follow along, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to open your hand, and I'm going to place a raisin in your hand. But I'm going to ask you to imagine that this is the first time you've ever seen a raisin. You've never seen such a thing before in your life. Okay? You can hold it flat in your palm, or you can hold it between your finger and your thumb. But I want you to really take in this object. Remember that you are seeing this for the first time. I see that you're already moving it around. You can continue to move it around between your fingers. Notice its texture, its shape. Really look at it, every part of it. You can even hold it up to the light and notice the parts that get lit up by the light, as well as the hollows and cracks that stay dark. Now I want you to slowly take that raisin and hold it up to your nose. And just inhale. And as you inhale, notice any smells. Now look at that raisin one more time. See if there's anything you might not have noticed yet about it. And this time you're going to, without putting it in yet, take that raisin and put it up to your mouth. Notice how your hand and your arm know exactly where to put it. Notice if there are any sensations happening inside your mouth as the raisin approaches. And when you're ready, without biting into it, simply put the raisin in your mouth. And notice what happens there. What happens in your mouth. You can let it roll around on your tongue. And now very slowly bite into the raisin and see what sensations you notice now. What does the taste like? As you continue chewing that raisin, notice what is happening in your mouth. What is happening to the texture of the raisin? And as you get ready to swallow the raisin, see if you can consciously concentrate on that thought to swallow it. So when you do swallow it, you're consciously aware of that process and that sensation as well. as you've swallowed it, see if you can try to track the raisin as it makes its way down to your stomach. And become aware of what is happening in your mouth. Is there an aftertaste there? What does it feel like to no longer have the raisin in your mouth? Is your tongue trying to do anything now that that space is empty? Just take a minute to notice the raisin's absence. Okay, I'm going to ask you to come back to me. And I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share with me what that experience was like for you.
A little bit weird. I never really stared at a raisin before.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to concentrate on it at first, but then I noticed all those like little things that happen when you put it in your mouth that you never really noticed before.
Okay. So it was strange at first, not something someone's asked you to do before.
No.
Have you eaten raisins before?
Lots of times.
Mm-hmm. But you've never taken such an interest in a raisin before?
No. Okay.
Was it difficult for you to keep your focus on the different instructions?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was a little slow.
Yeah? Was your mind wanting to wander?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Yep.
What were some things that you thought of?
Like, this is weird.
Okay.
And just looking at the uniqueness of it was very unique.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're not alone there in thinking that this is weird. It's not something that most of us are very good at, being that present and mindful of our actions and what we're doing. Is that something that you would be willing to keep exploring, those type of exercises to increase your awareness of the day-to-day moments that we may be used to just rushing past?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, well, that's the type of thing that we'll continue to explore in different ways and varieties, and not always with raisins, but over the next several weeks. Also, I will be sending you an email this evening, and that will have some homework assignments for you. Is that something you'd be willing to incorporate daily till we meet again?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, they'll have some different exercises that again will just help strengthen those awareness and attention muscles and help you tap into that being state of mind.
Okay. I can do that.
Perfect. And then we will meet again at the same time next week, and you can share with me how the homework assignments went, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you so much for coming in tonight, Tim.
All right, thanks.
Have a good night.
You too.